Dustin Poirier is definitely one of my favorite fighters, especially after the performances he's put on recently. And since that last fight against Conor McGregor, where Conor landed a shot basically behind the ear, unintentionally, but the ref allowed it to go on and he won by knockout. Since then, Dustin's improvement has been leaps and bounds. And we've seen him fight against just incredible opposition and beat them. And what's probably the most important part about Dustin's development is his relentless cardio and pace and toughness. Now, we know you never want to rely on toughness, but especially because toughness is something that fades after time, especially the more you go through battles. The fight of the year performance against Dan Hooker, he was able to maintain an incredible pace for 5 rounds. Just keep going. The pace was there. Same thing against Max Holloway. The pace. And we know what kind of pace Holloway has. And he was able to keep up with that pace, land the heavier punches. He was able to withstand Max's punches. I think Max is just too small to be fighting Dustin. That's not a great fight for him. And that's going to be very important against Conor in this fight. Now, Conor has that great puncher's chance, especially in the early rounds. And I think a lot of people are still riding that Conor train and think that Conor is going to take it. Conor is a negative 300 favorite, right, to plus 240. But I don't know, man. For Conor to win this, Conor's going to have to time him early and take him out early. As you've heard, Conor is talking about that 60-second knockout. But I don't know how much Conor believes it. I think Conor has improved a hell of a lot in his grappling and his wrestling. So, what I think he can incorporate some of that, but Dustin's grappling game is way above Conor's, in my opinion. He's got great submissions. He's got a great Dar stroke. He's got a great guillotine. We saw against Khabib, Dustin had him in trouble, right? And Khabib admitted the fact that that guillotine was tight. From missing, Khabib had to roll on the side to get the space to escape that guillotine. You know how tight that was. So we know, I think, what's going to happen. So we'll come back to why that wrestling and that grappling will matter. And Conor's possible newfound confidence in his wrestling as well. And Conor was never incompetent when it came to the ground. He's always had great takedown defense. He's had great control in terms of his ground and pound and so on. So Conor wants to time him early. Conor wants to land that straight precision shot. He wants to counter strike. There are a couple of things that Dustin does that are very predictable. Dustin has a nice step forward where he moves from southpaw to orthodox, and he comes over with the hook and he continues. That can be timed and it can be predicted, right? Because especially when he starts to get into a flow and he starts to throw combinations, that's what he does. I think Dustin's going to have to start out with those leg kicks early. He's going to start with those calf kicks early, which also offers an opportunity for Conor to throw that straight left off of the calf kick. I think Dustin is going to have to be very patient in that first round. It's going to be interesting because they both want to present pressure. They want to present that forward pressure at the same time, not being careless. So like Dustin has to get hitless. He can't afford in those early rounds, those first 2 rounds, to be taking that straight left from Conor, right? So we need him to throw those leg kicks, do nice movement, maybe even clench him up, because that's one thing that we know with Conor. It's better, and Conor has been working his clench. That's where those shoulder strikes came in, but you can wear his arms down, right? You can Nate Diaz him. You can wear the arms down with the clench, dirty fight him against the cage, hold him up. You don't necessarily have to shoot to be taking him down. You wear him down against the cage, throw the inside strikes, the elbows, and so on. Offer a couple takedowns, offer these things in the first couple rounds just to keep him baited in the first couple rounds, keep him slow, keep him at out of his element for the first 2 rounds, and then you can start pressuring him. We know for a fact that Conor always hits a hill. Sometimes he catches that second wind if you allow him to, but he does hit a hill. And I think Dustin, after the first 2 rounds, can present that pressure, keep kicking those legs, keep throwing those body shots, and just keep moving in with those strikes, and I think he can take him out. Now what can happen is when he applies that pressure, Conor might then now shoot, right? Because that, just like we saw what happens against Nate in that first fight, you know, after he's getting pressured too much, he will shoot, and then we'll see where Dustin can throw that guillotine. He can put all kind of things into play. His Darce choke from the front is crazy. Like I said, the guillotine is crazy, and I think that now gives us the opportunity for the submission. Of course, Conor has that possible knockout in the first 2 rounds. You know, a lot of the experts are predicting that knockout in the first 2 rounds. I say it's possible, but for some reason I think Dustin is gonna take it. I think Dustin is gonna outlast him. I think he's gonna provide that pressure, but he has to be patient. This is the key. The first 2 rounds he has to be patient, and he also maybe even a little boring. Patient. Conor is gonna come forward with the pressure, so you're gonna have to be the counter striker. But you have to be careful how you play with distance with Conor. Because what Conor does is he presents a distance as a deception. So he'll do things like in the Eddie Alvarez fight where he throws a jab but his hips are back. And what that does is that he purposely holds the hips back to present as if he can't reach. So his fist is like really just here. But then he just puts his hips in, and then the fist can reach all the way back here. Right? And Dustin's going to have to be careful at how he plays with that distance with Conor. Right? After those, and I think he has to clench him up. He has to clench him up. He has to make him work. He has to get real physical with him. I think Dustin will have the endurance to last out that kind of wrestling exchange and that kind of clinch war. And once that happens, he can then put on the pressure in the last 3 rounds, and I think he'll have him out by the 4th latest. Other than that, I think we're going to have a fight of the night, performance of the night kind of performance. Huh? A fight of the night, performance of the night kind of performance. And I think it's going to be incredible. So I'm glad if you can tune in. And, you know, enough love to all. Yeah, you don't know. This is MMA Jammin. I'm keeping it short this time. But as always, stay tuned. Click the notification. Subscribe. Comment below what you think. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Dustin? Is it going to be Conor? How are they going to win? Am I talking fat? Am I talking sense? And you don't know, we'll be coming back soon with, more guests. We have more up-and-coming fighters, more interesting situations happening with our Jamaican fighters. And I want you to stay tuned. Keep the notification bell on so you can see when I post content. And you don't know, as always, support. You see me? Thanks for all the support. Everybody have a great new year. As always, be mighty.